Hey there, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to become a great single father. So first off, no matter what the situation was, when it came to you all splitting up, whether it was your fault, her fault, or it was a mutual thing, none of that really matters at this point. This video is about how do you attend to your child or slash children. So in this video, I'll be referring to the child as my son, and I'll tell you some of the things that I thought through and that I tell other single fathers that they need to consider when they split up with that significant other, whether it's wife or girlfriend, baby mom, whatever it is or what have you. So first of all, number one, you got to be respectful to the mother, no matter what the situation may be. I strongly suggest that, one, you don't talk bad about people, period. But if you feel the need that you have to do so, make sure you don't do it around the child. No matter if the child is 1 year old, a few months old, or all the way up to a teenager, you do not want to be the guy that paints a negative picture about someone else's mom. Imagine if someone were to do that to you. And in some cases, some guy, that has happened. And if it has happened, why would you want to perpetuate that? So be cognizant and be respectful of the mother. And you guys have to set some clear boundaries. First of all, who is the child staying with? That's big. Obviously, the mom always, just thinks that the child's going to be with her. In my case, I got custody of my son when he was 10 months old. We split up, and I made that happen right away. I didn't wait. So I suggest that you take some action. If you guys are, cordial, working things out is great. But if you're dealing with someone who's unrational, you have to just make some decisions that in the best for your child, and they're not going to understand. They're going to be upset. But as long as you're acting from a place of what's best for the child and not best for you, then nothing else matters. Two, when you're dealing with the mother, you have to understand that at some point she is going to move on. So the question for you is she, well, I'm not going to say the question for you, but one thing that would suck is kind of if she moved on next week, regardless of whose fault it was, the relationship, because sometimes when they do that, how, in your mind, it's like, how fast are they having these people around my kid? If they're moving on and all of a sudden, like, they got people around your kid right away, that's not good for the kid. We're directly or indirectly teaching our kids something. We don't want, in all honesty, do you want your son or your daughter to see that side of your mom, to think that that's all right? Because essentially, again, everything happens indirectly or directly. So be respectful of the guy she's dating, and if he's an asshole, then that's a whole nother situation. But you got to be respectful of the fact that she is going to move on. So be on the lookout for that. That leads me into the next point that I want to make is when you're a single father, you have to be extremely, extremely aware about how you're going to introduce somebody else into your kid's life. So when it comes to the mom, you have no control over that, of how she's going to introduce someone into your child's life. You just hope and pray, and maybe you have conversations. I mean, you should definitely have a schedule on who's going to do what and when and keep to that. But when it comes to you introducing that special someone, hopefully they have to be special, to be honest with you. If you're just bringing any girl that you're sticking around, then you're just I don't think you should, I don't think that's a good thing for your kid. Let's just put it that way. I mean, everybody does their thing differently, but again, son or daughter, it's not painting a good picture for your son. I feel like in my case, I think you should honestly make sure that it's someone that you care about, someone that you see yourself having a future with, and ease that person into your son's life. You got to think about this too. I mean, I suggest strictly dating, especially if you're sharing time with the mother and you have your own time. Why not just take advantage of that time instead of trying to take over your child's time with that? And I see that happen a lot. But, even at night, like on the night your kids sleep, you get them to bed, you get your girl over, and do you want your son or daughter to walk in the room and see you on top of some women that they've never met, never seen in their house, and then that's the graphic they see in the middle of the night? Kids don't forget stuff like that. Or let's say that you guys are fully clothed and just having a really in-depth conversation. He wakes up or she wakes up to someone they've never seen in their house in the middle of the night. Things like that. So you really have to be cognizant and aware of what your kids are learning in these situations. And I would strongly suggest, again, being super respectful of the mother, and two, being extremely careful when you date, giving it time, easing them in their life. I think that if you meet a woman and she is the one, you still don't want to just, all right, we're together today, and all of a sudden, like, you're just around the kid all the time from there. Ease them in. Allow the kid to get comfortable. Kids are supposed to do what we tell them to do, and honestly, that's the truth. And at the same time, it's like they have thoughts, they have feelings, and those things need to be taken into account. And it doesn't have to be the old regime that a lot of us grew up under. Do as I say because I said it. I like more of the getting an understanding, seeing how everybody feels, and at the same time not catering too much. But it's a delicate situation, especially if you've never been split up in your family. So those are just a few things that I feel allowed me to be a great, successful single father. Those things allowed me to find the right woman to bring around my child and help them develop a great relationship. And I see a lot of people that aren't able to accomplish those things. So I hope that teaching you guys the tips and tricks that I used on how to be a great single father helped you all out. And in my next video, maybe I'll go on and a little bit more about how to go down there and establish custody if that's the right situation for you to do. But if you know you're not the best parent for your child and that the other person is, you don't want to be selfish. But if you know you're the best parent, you're doing yourself and your child a disservice if you do not go down there and get custody of your child, because you know what it'll be like on the other side. And in my case, I felt that to be true in both. I felt like I was the better parent, and I knew if I left my son to other devices that he wouldn't be the person that he is today. And I don't know, I just couldn't stand the fact of thinking about being without my kid every day of the week. So I think I only don't see my son on Saturday, and I can live with that. But to not see him every day and only see him Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I don't know how I could live with myself. So think about those things. The woman's not always the best person to raise the child, but you have to be real with yourself. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next video. Matter of fact, comment below if you want me to make that video about how to get custody, and I can go through some of the steps. Again, it's different in all states, but I'm glad to help. Later.